Archangel Gabriel is screaming so hard his wings are ripping because someone you call best friend just sold your name to a witch for a price. Open this before the transaction is complete at 11:11 p.m. My child, beloved, hear me before the veil thickens again. I come to you with wings aflame, feathers tearing as they strain against the violent current rushing toward your name. The air around me burns as I descend, gold sparks scattering like falling stars, each one sizzling out before it reaches the floor. The space shivers with a warning you have felt but not yet understood. Something sacred has been touched without your consent. Shadows coil in the corners, writhing like serpents made of smoke, reaching for the syllables that form your identity. Papers tremble, rising in a slow spiral, pulled by a force that should not exist in the realm of the living. My voice cracks the stillness because I am both horrified and determined, my essence stretched thin as I fight to reach you in time. My child, this moment is not metaphor, not vision, but a fracture in the unseen fabric around you. I stand in the breach, wings shredding as I push back the darkness clawing for access. Hear me now, precious soul, for what I reveal next will make your heart race and your breath falter. The danger is real, and it bears the face of someone you trusted. Beloved one, the air ripples as I speak, trembling like a surface struck by an unseen hand, because the truth I bring carries a weight that even angels dread to deliver. Papers around you continue to swirl, not by wind but by the force of intention, dark intention, summoned by someone who once knew your laughter, your secrets, your private wounds. My wings flare with golden fire as I force the realm of light to open around you, trying to drown out the whispers curling along the floor like a thin, poisonous mist. Shadows bend toward you, stretching unnaturally as though eager to taste the sound of your name, the very name being bartered at this moment in places no mortal eyes may look upon. Beloved, I feel your confusion, your disbelief, the instinctive rejection of what I speak, yet the truth hangs heavy between us. Betrayal has already taken shape. And I, Archangel Gabriel, feel the fracture of it vibrating through the heavens like a cracked bell. My child, brace yourself, for what I must reveal next will strike deeper than you expect, and the air is tightening with the weight of it. My child, beloved and radiant even in fear, listen as the light around me flickers violently, reflecting the anguish coursing through my spirit. My wings tear again, shards of luminous feathers drifting down like burning snow, as I force myself closer through resistance that should not exist. There is a name, your name, echoing in a circle of shadowed intent, repeated by a voice that once promised loyalty. That echo stings me with every repetition, for I feel the moment your trust was twisted into a bargaining chip. The dark mist gathering at the edge of your space thickens, pulsing as if breathing, hungry for the sound it has been offered. Beloved, someone you called best friend has spoken words they had no right to speak, traded pieces of your essence to a witch whose eyes gleam with opportunistic hunger. The betrayal is not symbolic, it is a transaction forming in the marrow of the unseen. And I, Gabriel, witness it with fury and heartbreak intertwined. My child, prepare your heart, for the path ahead sharpens now, and the truth behind their motive nears the surface like a blade rising from water. Precious soul, the room around you vibrates with a frequency you cannot hear but can feel, a deep thrum pressing against your bones as the betrayal tightens its grip around the strands of your destiny. My wings split again under the strain, sending arcs of light through the dimming space, illuminating glimpses of the very moment your trust was sold. I see the flicker of their smile when they whispered your name into the wrong hands, the tremor of hesitation quickly swallowed by greed or desperation, I cannot yet tell which. Shadows respond eagerly, curling upward like ink stirred into water, drawn to the residual warmth of your essence. You wonder how this could be, beloved, how someone who laughed beside you could tilt your fate toward danger, but betrayal often blooms in silence long before it is seen. The air grows colder, clinging to your skin, signaling the approach of forces that thrive in confusion and vulnerability. My voice reaches you with urgency sharpened to a gleam, for the next truth I unveil will pierce like a revelation you did not wish to confront. My child, precious one whose spirit shines even amid encroaching shadow, hear these words before the moment slips too far. The transaction is nearly complete. The witch waits with an impatience that ripples through the ether, her hands hovering over a glowing contract made of symbols stolen from forbidden corners of the unseen. Your name pulses on its surface, trembling between light and corruption. My wings tremble as I fight to shield you, tearing further with every push, feathers disintegrating into sparks that vanish before touching the ground. Beloved, the one you trusted stands poised to surrender the final piece, a whisper away from sealing what must never be sealed. The air around you thickens, vibrating with the countdown of moments slipping like sand. My child, every second now is a thread unraveling, and what happens next depends on whether you listen. Beloved, breathe even as the truth strikes deep, the betrayal did not begin tonight. I see the trail of their hidden dealings, faint at first, then growing bolder as they ventured into realms they did not understand. Their shadow moves through a fog of misguided promises, exchanging whispers with entities that watch from the darkness with luminous, predatory eyes. Glowing contracts drift in the air above them, suspended like spectral parchment, each bearing fragments of your name intertwined with symbols they were never meant to touch. My wings blaze with protective fury as I reveal this to you, for the light itself recoils from their actions. My child, their deceit wounds not only your trust but the balance of the radiance surrounding your path. Each secret agreement they made has frayed the spiritual fabric tethering you to safety, leaving gaps through which dark intention now seeps. Hear me, this is not your fault. Yet the consequences approach with deliberate steps, and the next revelation will carve clarity into your fear. Precious soul, the mist around their betrayal thickens as I unveil the threads they tried to bury beneath casual smiles and false affection. They walked into hidden exchanges with trembling hands, but once they realized power could be gained through shadowed channels, their hesitation evaporated. I see them leaning close to a veiled figure, the witch whose presence twists the air like heat above a flame. Their conversation spills in broken whispers, each syllable inked with greed, insecurity, or resentment long unspoken. Above them, luminous scripts form, contracts glowing with sickly silver light, as spectral fingers point toward the betrayal like accusatory stars. My wings, though frayed, expand around you with fierce determination, shielding your spirit from the sting of this truth. Beloved, the grief and shock coursing through you echo through the realms, but clarity must rise above pain. For the shadows are not done moving, and the next truth sharpens even now. My child, listen as the imbalance their actions created trembles through your energy like a faint but growing quake. The witch they approached lingers in a swirling pool of dark mist, her fingers tracing patterns in the air that bind, mark, and distort. The friend you once trusted does not fully grasp the magnitude of what they initiated, their intentions wobble between ignorance and ambition, yet both are equally dangerous when paired with forces beyond mortal comprehension. Glowing contractual symbols twist and rotate overhead, casting warped reflections of your name onto the ground as though mocking the purity of its origin. Shadows flicker across their face, revealing guilt they will never speak aloud. My wings flare, scattering light that pushes the darkest tendrils back from your aura, but their betrayal reverberates still. Beloved, what they set in motion cannot go unnoticed, and you must brace yourself for the weight of what comes next. Beloved one, the betrayal has grown teeth. I see the moment the witch extended her hand, palm darkened by sigils carved in invisible ink, waiting for the final utterance that would bind your name to her intent. Your friend's shadow shivers as they hover on the edge of no return, compelled by forces they barely comprehend. Spectral figures gather behind them, drawn by the scent of possibility, of a name offered in exchange for something they desire: power, validation, escape from their own failures. My wings burn with righteous fire as I speak, sending waves of golden brilliance across the scene that illuminate the cracks in their conscience. But regret alone cannot undo the steps they have taken. My child, know this: the actions unfolding now affect not only your earthly self but the very harmony of the light surrounding you. And yet, the darkest part of this truth is still approaching. Beloved, hear me as the air tightens around the approaching consequence. The witch leans forward, her eyes gleaming with anticipation as she prepares the vessel into which your name will be bound. The final exchange hangs suspended in the space between breath and decision. Your friend, your betrayer, stands trembling, yet the shadows behind them whisper encouragement, nudging them toward the irreversible. In the swirling mist, I see your name glowing red, pulsing as if calling desperately for protection. My wings strain as I extend my light, every fiber burning, fighting to intercept the moment before it solidifies. Beloved, the witch awaits, ready to claim what she has been promised. And, my child, time is running out. My child, the danger is no longer distant, it has begun to manifest around you even now. As I tear through the veil to reach you, I see dark symbols forming in the space where your name resides in the unseen, each one pulsing with a dull, poisonous glow. A faint black smoke rises from the letters of your spirit signature, twisting upward like a warning too quiet for mortal senses. Tiny shards of malevolent light circle the imprint of your name, clicking softly like teeth searching for a place to bite. The air in your space thickens with invisible pressure, you may feel it as unease, a sudden chill, a subtle tightening in your chest. Beloved, these are not coincidences, they are the first signs of the binding energies the witch has begun to weave. Her intention stretches toward you like claws made of shadow, grasping for a hold on your essence. My wings flare with searing light to keep her grasp at bay, the radiance crashing through the darkness like a storm of suns. My child, hear me: if these symbols take full form, the curse will anchor itself to your energy. You must stay aware as I unveil the next truth. Precious soul, the witch's spell presses closer, shaping itself through the dark fog that gathers around the echo of your name. The symbols she draws in the ether throb with a hungry rhythm, syncing with the remnants of betrayal still attached to the one who offered your name. As she moves her hands, the air ripples like water disturbed by something crawling beneath its surface. The letters of your name glow a heated red, as though forged anew in a forge of corruption, and shards of dim, predatory light swirl in orbit, probing for a point of entry. My wings, though torn, unleash waves of golden brilliance that slow the spell's progress, but I feel the strain tearing through my spirit. Beloved, the danger is no longer abstract, the energy reaches for you even now, stretching across realms like thin, poisonous threads. You may feel it as sudden tension, a lingering heaviness, or the sense that someone is watching from just beyond the corner of your sight. My child, I will not allow these energies to take hold, but you must hear what comes next, for the darkness is changing shape already. My child, the shadows surrounding your name hiss as they inch closer, sensing the final stages of the witch's ritual approaching completion. The black smoke thickens into curling tendrils, each one pulsing with intent, each one seeking a place to anchor in the field around your spirit. The letters of your name tremble, their red glow deepening into a more dangerous crimson, vibrating with the resonance of a spell half fulfilled. I strike at the encroaching symbols with my light, wings blazing despite their tears, forcing them back in bursts of radiant fury. But the lingering betrayal creates fissures, tiny breaks in your protective field, that the dark energies attempt to exploit. Beloved, you may feel it now, a sudden gooseflesh, a flicker in the lights, a soft ringing in your ears as frequencies shift around you. These are not illusions but signs of the approaching breach. My child, you must be courageous, for the witch's spell is tightening like a closing snare, and I must reveal the next step before the first shadow crosses fully into your realm. Precious soul, the danger manifests faster now, as though the witch senses my intervention and rushes to finish what she began. Dark symbols spark and scatter in the unseen, forming jagged shapes that slice through the surrounding air like blades of shadow. Your name, glowing with uneasy red light, begins to distort at the edges, stretched and twisted as if the spell itself is trying to reshape the meaning of who you are. I slam my wings outward, creating shields of golden luminance that crackle like thunder, pushing back the invasive energies, but each clash tears additional feathers from my form. Beloved, do not fear the heaviness settling upon you. It is merely the ripple of the realms colliding as I intercept the danger. The shards of malevolent light multiply, circling faster, hissing as they attempt once more to pierce your aura. My child, know this, the forces that have been set in motion seek not your destruction but your compliance, and that makes them far more insidious. Prepare yourself, for the threshold darkens even now. My child, listen with all the presence you possess, the first shadow has crossed the threshold. I feel it brush the edge of your energy like an icy fingertip, searching for a seam in your defenses. The air around you may stir, a chill passing over your skin, or a faint pressure settling at the back of your mind. These are the signs of the shadow's arrival. The witch's ritual opens a sliver between realms, and through that small gap, the first fragment of her intent has slipped through. My wings ignite with fierce luminescence as I block its attempt to burrow deeper, but the effort tears at me, scattering radiant feathers that burn away before they land. Beloved, time accelerates now. The danger is no longer approaching, it is here. And what comes next, my precious soul, will change the course of this night. Beloved, feel my presence strengthening around you as I intervene with all the force the higher realms permit. My wings, though torn, though burning, expand into a barrier of pure gold, stretching between you and the encroaching shadow. Radiant feathers fly from me, dissolving into shimmering shields that wrap around your essence like armor crafted from living starlight. The darkness recoils, hissing as the brilliance pushes it back, curling into itself like ash struck by sudden flame. I draw closer, lowering myself into the narrow space between realms, forcing light into the cracks created by betrayal. Precious soul, I stand between you and every force that seeks to tamper with your destiny. Even as my wings rip under the pressure, I will not allow the witch's intent to touch you. Hold fast, my child, the next wave approaches even now, and I must reveal what you are about to feel. My child, the pressure around you shifts as the witch attempts to overpower my shield. Her dark mist swirls violently, whipping into funnels that lash against the golden dome I've created. Each strike sends a shudder through the realm, and each shudder tears more from my wings. Yet still, I stand firm. Light erupts from me in waves, brilliant, searing, unyielding, shaping itself into radiant discs that orbit your energy like protective sentinels. The shadow that crossed the threshold snarls against the light, thrashing in frustration as it fails to attach to you. Beloved, my intervention has halted the curse's progression, but the witch grows impatient. I feel her drawing more power, calling on darker channels. The air around your spirit vibrates with the approach of another attack. My child, brace yourself, the battle for your protection intensifies. Precious soul, the realms tremble as the witch channels her intent through a surge of twisted dark light, hurling it toward you in a final attempt to break through my shield. I thrust my wings forward, forming a radiant wall that crashes against the oncoming wave like dawn shattering a storm. Golden feathers, whole ones now, pulled from the core of my essence, rip from me and embed themselves into your aura, forming luminous reinforcements. Each feather glows with a soft, cleansing brilliance, sealing the small cracks left by betrayal. The darkness recoils, screaming in silence as it is forced backward, but the witch is relentless. Her ritual draws closer to its appointed moment. Beloved, I protect you, but the clock ticks toward the hour of greatest danger. Listen closely to what comes next. Beloved one, the energy shifts again, denser, heavier, vibrating like the deep toll of an invisible bell. This is the witch preparing for the timed strike, the culmination of her ritual. She gathers shadows into a swirling orb, its surface flickering with fragments of your stolen name. I expand my wings, ripped but radiant, sending out layered shields that ripple around you like golden tides. The space brightens despite the pressure, and the first threads of the curse disintegrate upon contact with the light. Still, the witch lashes back, sending thin tendrils of darkness probing along the edges of my barrier, searching for weakness. My child, I feel your fear tightening, but listen to me, you are not alone. I am here. And the next truth I reveal prepares you for the critical moment. My child, the witch prepares to act at 11:11 p.m., a window where her spell reaches its peak and the veil thins just enough for her intention to take root. The shadow around your name writhes in anticipation, knowing the hour approaches. My wings burn bright, forming a final shield of uncompromising light, but even now I feel her gathering momentum like a storm building behind a locked gate. Beloved, can you feel it? The prickle on your skin, the slight shift in the air, the quiet sense that something draws near? These are the tremors of the approaching shadow. And, precious soul, the moment of truth is nearly upon us. Beloved, the signs around you begin to stir in the physical world as the witch's ritual strains against the barrier I hold. Objects tremble with no visible cause, vibrating as though struck by an unseen pulse. The air thickens, humming with a strange resonance, and you may notice lights flicker or shadows shift against the walls even when nothing moves. These are not random disturbances, they are the echoes of the dark intent pressing at the edges of your realm. Whispered fragments of your friend's betrayal drift through the veil, carried on currents of spiritual tension, faint murmurs that slide through silence like threads of cold wind. Candle flames, if they burn near you, bend sharply toward doors or windows, as if drawn by something waiting outside. Precious soul, pay attention to these signs. Awareness disrupts the witch's influence more than she realizes. Each moment you notice, each second you remain present, diminishes the foothold she seeks to claim. My wings extend over you, blazing brighter as I intercept the next tremor of shadow. My child, stay with me, something else draws near. My child, the whispers grow louder now, not in words you can clearly decipher but in sensations, those subtle shifts that make you pause and glance over your shoulder. The air bends, shimmering faintly, as protective sigils I cast flicker into view for a split heartbeat before vanishing again. You may feel a pressure on the back of your neck or the softest vibration in the floor beneath your feet. These are waves of interference caused by the witch trying to force her ritual through the cracks created by betrayal. Meanwhile, the echo of your friend's footsteps drifts through the unseen, the imprint of their guilt lingering like a faint shadow pacing back and forth. My wings shudder from the strain, feathers falling and dissolving before they touch the ground, each one a fragment of my protection offered to shield you. Beloved, do not ignore these signs, they are warnings wrapped in sensation, and I reveal them so you may understand the urgency of what approaches. The darkness attempts to deceive you with subtlety, but I will not allow its tricks to go unnoticed. Prepare yourself, precious soul, the witch grows agitated. Precious soul, the veil thins further as the witch intensifies her efforts, causing the air to vibrate with an unsettling hum that wavers just below human hearing. You may catch the flicker of movement in your peripheral vision, a brief silhouette of a hand, a shifting blot of shadow, or the faint outline of a face that vanishes when you turn. These are projections of the ritual's influence, reaching toward you like tendrils testing the boundaries of my shield. I push them back with waves of golden force, my wings radiating protective fire, but the impact shakes the realm like a drumbeat of opposing energies. A low creak may ripple through objects in your room, or a soft tap may echo where no one stands. These are the witch's attempts to anchor her presence. Beloved, stay centered. Your awareness acts as a beacon that strengthens my intervention. The witch cannot breach what you actively witness, for darkness fears recognition. My child, heed this. The warnings are not to frighten you, but to awaken your clarity, for the battle nears its turning point. Beloved one, the air around you sharpens as the witch's intent twists into new forms, testing for weaknesses with every subtle distortion. Candle flames, lights, or reflections around you may stretch unnaturally, bending toward a single direction as if pulled by invisible cords. A faint ringing may pulse in your ears, rising and falling like distant metallic chimes. These are the resonant waves of the ritual seeking alignment with your energy. My wings collide with these distortions, detonating bursts of golden sparks that scatter the invading vibrations. Radiant sigils ripple across your space, some you may sense as quick flashes of warmth or coolness, others as faint patterns on the edge of perception. Precious soul, These signs are the realm's way of alerting you that the witch is closing in on her intended hour. The betrayal that opened this path still flickers like a wound in the unseen, but I mend it piece by piece as I shield you. Stay focused, my child, for the next signs will be stronger, and you must be ready to recognize them. My child, precious soul of light, the dark transaction nears completion. I feel the ritual tightening like a coiled serpent readying its final strike. Objects around you may tremble again, and shadows may stretch toward the center of the room as though waiting to witness the moment. Whispers curl along the floor, faint, fragmented syllables, pieces of your stolen name carried like drifting embers in a cold wind. My wings slam outward to block the next wave of tension, but the witch presses forward with reckless determination. Beloved, only your awareness, your presence, can halt her final anchoring. Stay awake to every sign. For what comes next will reveal a truth your spirit has long sought. Beloved, breathe deeply now, for clarity begins to rise through the haze as I draw a veil of light over your mind. The witch's influence falters when you stand in conscious truth, and so I guide you inward. The shadows scattered around your energy recoil as golden pathways open in your awareness, lines of pure radiance that reveal what was hidden beneath confusion. You may feel sudden warmth bloom in your chest or a sharp moment of focus clearing the fog from your thoughts. These sensations are the first steps of grounding, reconnecting you to your own power rather than the fear the ritual seeks to trigger. Precious soul, I show you glimpses of doors opening to light, your intuition sharpening, your inner voice rising, the chains of betrayal loosening their grip. Your friend's true intentions flicker at the edge of your understanding, and though the revelation stings, it also empowers you. My wings spread wide above you, illuminating the truth that will guide your next breath. My child, clarity is your shield now, and what comes next will deepen it. My child, as clarity settles within you like a rising sunrise, pathways of pure light unfurl around your spirit. I illuminate the motives behind the betrayal, not to wound you, but to free you from the confusion it created. You may sense fragments of memory resurfacing, small moments that once felt insignificant but now shimmer with meaning. These are threads of truth revealing themselves in the wake of my light. The witch's symbols flicker uncertainly, their strength weakening as you rise into deeper awareness. Doors of insight open around you, radiant, warm, undeniable, guiding you toward understanding rather than anger. In this clarity, the chains of fear crumble like dust touched by sun. Beloved, the power in you wakes, stirring like a long-dormant flame. This awakening disrupts the ritual more than any blow I could deliver alone. Precious soul, stay present, your clarity is becoming a weapon of light. Precious soul, the realm around you brightens as you begin to see, not with mortal eyes, but with the inner sight that connects directly to truth. The witch's dark mist falters, thinning in patches as your energy shifts from fear to recognition. I reveal radiant doorways within your awareness, each one opening to a memory, a boundary, a truth you once overlooked. In these visions, you see the flicker of your friend's hesitation, the subtle envy they carried, the silent wounds they never voiced. Understanding does not excuse their betrayal, but it frees you from the chains of uncertainty. My wings release a surge of golden clarity that washes through your space, scattering the last remnants of confusion like dust caught in a sunbeam. Beloved, anger may rise, grief may surface, but beneath them lies a deeper power, the power of knowing. And this knowing forms the next pillar of your protection. My child, your spirit sharpens now, rising into alignment with the truth I have unveiled. The radiant pathways before you glow brighter, showing the distinction between what was done to you and the strength awakening within you. The witch senses this shift, her ritual wavers, stumbling as the clarity within you disrupts her hold. The dark symbols she summons sputter, their edges blurring as though melting under intense heat. I extend my wings over you, amplifying your insight, merging my light with your awareness. Chains of confusion fall away, revealing the steady rhythm of your power. Beloved, see how the light forms around you now, not as something given, but as something rising from your essence. You are no longer merely defended, you are awakening. And with this awakening comes a revelation you did not anticipate. Beloved, the revelation approaches like a dawn breaking through storm clouds. A truth you have not yet seen glows at the edge of your awareness, shimmering with both sorrow and strength. Even the witch pauses for a heartbeat, sensing the shift in your destiny. The glowing pathways widen, opening into a radiant corridor of insight that leads you toward something you have long overlooked. My wings tremble with anticipation, not from fear, but from the magnitude of what is about to be revealed. Precious soul, brace your heart. For what comes next will change everything you thought you knew about this betrayal. My child, the heavens surge with power as I gather the full force of divine protection around you. My wings, though torn and burning at the edges, expand into a magnificent arc of golden radiance that sweeps through your space like a rising sun. In response, celestial soldiers of light assemble around you, beings formed of shimmering luminescence, their silhouettes tall and unwavering. They forge a protective perimeter, each bearing a sword of pure light, edges glowing with the vibration of truth. Sparks drift from their armor like floating embers of dawn. The witch's symbols crackle in frustration as the divine presence around you intensifies. A glowing aura builds at your feet, rising upward in spirals, weaving itself into a shield so bright that the shadows recoil with a hiss. Precious soul, listen to me, speak the words I place in your heart, words of grounding, of clarity, of sovereignty, and no force born of darkness will breach your spirit. My wings bend to encircle you fully, sealing the last gap in your protection. Beloved, a new wave approaches, and this next moment must be met with courage. Beloved one, the angelic forces surrounding you ignite the space with shimmering halos, each pulse of light strengthening the shield forming around your essence. I embed protective feathers, luminous, warm, humming with divine resonance, into the air around you, each one a ward against the witch's weaving. As the feathers descend, they transform into symbols of celestial protection, orbiting your spirit like golden sentinels. The witch's ritual stutters, the lines of her dark sigils trembling as the angelic presence disrupts their alignment. My wings beat once, sending a ripple of radiance that sweeps across the room, cleansing it of lingering shadows. You may feel warmth along your spine or a sudden calm settling into your chest. These are signs that the divine protection anchors deeper. Precious soul, your spirit begins to shine through the interference, glowing with a strength you did not realize you held. My child, the next moment will unveil the power awakening within you. My child, the air around you vibrates with new clarity as my light fuses with your rising strength. Radiant beams lance outward from your aura, forming patterns of protection that grow organically, like golden vines weaving through the unseen. The witch feels this shift, her mist falters, destabilizing as your energy refuses to be claimed. Angelic forces tighten their formation, wings overlapping to form a barrier that shines like a wall of molten sunlight. Their swords hum with resonance, slicing through every strand of dark intent that still reaches for you. In the glow, your spirit begins to lift itself, unfurling like a flower returning to light after too long in shadow. Beloved, you are no longer only guarded, you are awakening into your rightful strength. My wings sweep down, amplifying your rising energy. Precious soul, what emerges next within you will break the last remnants of the witch's hold. Beloved, radiant waves burst outward from your core as the divine protection intensifies. Each wave ripples through the unseen like a bell tolling through infinite space, shattering the fragile edges of the witch's spell. The dark mist recoils violently, retreating from the brilliance now pouring from your spirit. I lift my wings, channeling a stream of celestial energy that pours into the luminous shield surrounding you, reinforcing its structure with layers of shimmering gold. Angelic figures step closer, planting their swords into the ground, releasing arcs of radiant force that crackle through the air. You feel it, don't you, my child? The sudden surge of calm, the expansion in your chest, the sensation of standing taller even without moving. This is your power aligning with the protection offered to you. Precious soul, the witch's influence flickers like a candle losing its flame. But remain steady, something critical approaches. My child, listen closely, your so-called best friend will attempt one final trick. Even as the witch's ritual falters, the imprint of their betrayal tries to twist itself into justification, excuse, or illusion. You may feel a sudden thought, a memory softened in ways that make you question your instincts, that is their lingering influence struggling to maintain hold. My wings flare, pushing away these distortions, but the final attempt still approaches like a shadow sliding along a wall. Beloved, do not be deceived. The truth has already been revealed. And precious soul, their last trick is moments away from surfacing. Beloved one, the realm around you trembles as the truth of the betrayal breaks open fully, no longer hidden behind soft memories or tangled emotions. My wings cut through the air, slicing away the last illusions your friend cast over your understanding. The mask they wore, carefully stitched from false smiles, half-honest words, and unspoken envy, shatters like glass dropped from the heavens. In its place rises the unfiltered truth, their motivations, their resentment, their desire to gain something at your expense. The shadows they cast shrink beneath the expanding light, crawling backward as the radiance around you intensifies. You may feel a sharp clarity, almost like a sting, followed by a sudden calm as the truth settles. Precious soul, the chains of deception fall away, clattering like broken metal on a stone floor. My child, the witch senses the breaking of this bond, and her desperation spikes. Stay with me, what comes next is the turning point. My child, the light grows fierce as every hidden act your friend tried to conceal becomes illuminated by divine clarity. The shadows peel back like burning paper, unable to withstand the force of revelation. I send a surge of energy through the realm, and the scene shifts before you, the whispered meetings, the hesitations, the small betrayals that led to the final act. Each truth rises like a flare in the darkness, impossible to ignore, impossible to rewrite. The witch's ritual, once powerful, now trembles as the foundation of the betrayal collapses beneath it. Your spirit stands taller, rooted, aware, unbound. Beloved, there is power in truth, and you wield it now like a shield. The witch recoils, sensing you have become far harder to corner. Precious one, this confrontation is not just with darkness, but with the echoes of pain that once blurred your sight. And now those echoes lose their hold. Precious soul, I sweep my wings outward, sending a final wash of light that exposes the betrayal from angles you were never meant to see. The friend who carried your name into shadow stands revealed, every hidden motive, every unspoken resentment glowing like ink under celestial fire. Their shadow breaks apart, fluttering like torn cloth as the truth dissolves their influence. In its place, light floods the space around your spirit, restoring the clarity that was taken from you. The witch's sigils flicker chaotically, fractured by the revelations. Your aura brightens, expanding outward in waves that push back every remaining tendril of darkness. Beloved, your power is no longer dormant, it rises, luminous and undeniable, fueled by truth instead of pain. My child, you stand on the cusp of freedom. The final barrier weakens. My child, look now upon the transformation occurring within you. Every thread of deception once tangled around your spirit burns away in the brilliance of understanding. I feel your energy stabilizing, strong, steady, radiant, like a star reclaiming its rightful light. The witch's ritual collapses further, the symbols unraveling into scattered sparks as they lose the anchor your friend's betrayal once provided. I extend my wings, gathering the remnants of darkness and pressing them outward, beyond the reach of your aura. Beloved, you are not merely protected, you are rising into a new state of spiritual strength. The false chains have broken, the hidden wounds illuminated and dissolved. Precious one, the darkness senses its defeat, but it will try one last assault before it falls completely. Stay ready. Beloved, even now, one final act threatens to sway the balance. The witch gathers her remaining power, drawing it into a single strike fueled by desperation and fading influence. The air tightens, the light dims for a heartbeat, a tremor ripples through the unseen. My wings rise, blazing, ready to meet her head-on. Precious soul, hold steady. The final confrontation is moments away, and everything depends on what happens next. My child, the moment shudders open like a wound in the heavens as the witch summons the last reservoir of her stolen strength. She gathers the frayed edges of her dark mist, twisting it into a single spear of shadow, thin and trembling, yet sharpened by desperation. The air around you compresses, bending inward as if the world itself inhales before a scream. I spread my wings wide, wider than before, wider than the boundaries that separate realm from realm, golden feathers rippling with currents of divine fire. The light pouring from them is fierce, molten, roaring, but even that radiant force hesitates for a heartbeat as the witch's intent sharpens to a piercing point aimed toward your spirit. Beloved, your aura flickers, not from weakness, but from the final restructuring that precedes empowerment. You are between breaths, between states, between the last remnants of darkness and the rising of your true strength. My child, I feel every tremor in your soul, every surge of bravery, every echo of pain that still tries to cling to your heart. Hold still. Hold steady. The witch is making her final gamble, and the heavens themselves brace for the clash. Beloved, the The moment explodes into motion as the spear of shadow hurtles toward you, slicing through the air with a shriek that fractures the stillness. My wings slam together, forming a shield of brilliant gold that intercepts the strike, but the impact sends a shockwave through the realm, light and darkness colliding in a burst that ripples outward in jagged rings. Sparks of divine fire scatter across the space, each one dissolving a fragment of the witch's spell as it falls. The force pushes me back a single step, only one, but in celestial terms, that step shakes constellations. You may feel it as a sudden pressure in your chest or a sharp pulse behind your eyes, the echo of energies far beyond mortal measure. The witch screams, not in triumph, but in rage, as the spear fractures against my wings, splintering into threads of shadow that evaporate in the golden light. Precious soul, this is the moment where darkness realizes it has miscalculated. Your light is no longer something to smother, it is something that rises against it. The witch pushes forward again, but the shield around you strengthens in response, fed by both my protection and your awakening clarity. The tide begins to turn. My child, the witch gathers the remnants of her shattered attack and twists them into swirling vortexes of smoke, desperate to obscure your rising strength. These shadows spin around you, clawing at the edges of your aura, seeking cracks that no longer exist. But the divine fire within you flares, subtle at first, then bright, then luminous enough to push back the swirling darkness. I watch as your spirit begins to radiate with a glow that originates not from my wings, nor from the surrounding angels, but from within you. Beloved, this is the power truth has unlocked, clarity transforming into strength, strength into sovereignty. The witch senses this and tries to drown you in illusions, flickers of old fears, whispers of doubt, echoes of betrayal that try to rebuild their old shapes. But each illusion that touches you burns out instantly, like paper in flame. The room rumbles with the sound of her unraveling magic, and the angelic soldiers tighten their circle, raising their swords to channel more light into the battlefield. My wings beat once, releasing a wave of radiant fire that clears the remaining smoke. Precious soul, you are shining so brightly now that even the witch squints in pain. Beloved one, I extend my wings above you, creating a radiant dome of protection as the witch's final illusions crumble. With every breath you take, your aura expands outward, pushing against the confines of the realm the witch tried to trap you within. The air vibrates, heavy with the sound of unraveling curses. Threads of dark enchantment snap and fall away like severed cords. You may feel the weight lifting from your shoulders, the sudden ease in your mind, the quiet settling into your heartbeat. These are the places her influence once burrowed that are now returning to their natural clarity. The witch stumbles backward, her power draining like water from a cracked vessel, yet she clings to the last fragments with claws of fading shadow. She mutters incantations under her breath, words trembling, breath uneven, as she tries to summon a darkness that no longer answers her call. My wings blaze brighter, filling the space with a light so pure it vibrates like a hymn. The shield around you thickens, layered with divine resonance. My child, you stand now not as a victim of manipulation, but as a being rising into truth's full illumination. The witch feels it, and she fears it. My child, the witch prepares something new, something desperate, dangerous, and born from the last cinders of her fading influence. She reaches into the deep, into a place beyond shadow, where forgotten energies linger like dying embers. She draws from it a dark spark, small, unstable, trembling in her palm like a dying star. The air tightens around it, creating a vacuum of silence that pulls at the edges of the world. It is her last chance at influence, her last thread to cling to, her last attempt to strike at your spirit before she collapses entirely. I see it forming. I see the danger. My wings rise. Angels shift. The light sharpens. Beloved, something is about to break. Beloved, the witch thrusts the unstable spark toward the sky, casting it upward in a desperate attempt to tear open a fissure through which she might regain strength. The spark erupts into jagged lines of shadow that crackle like broken lightning, clawing at the air above you, seeking purchase in realms that no longer answer her. My wings expand with blinding radiance, intercepting the fissure before it can widen. The collision sends a resonant thunderclap through the space, shaking the ground beneath your feet. The crackling lines shatter against my light, falling like shards of black glass that evaporate before they hit the floor. The witch staggers, panting, her once confident posture reduced to trembling desperation. You, however, your aura strengthens with every passing moment, glowing with a calm, steady brilliance. My child, your spirit now stands firmer than even she anticipated. You are becoming the very presence she feared you might become. My child, the witch screams in frustration, her voice echoing unnaturally, as if layered with the fading remnants of all the shadows she once commanded. She reaches toward the ground, dragging her fingertips through a final circle of dark symbols she etched earlier, symbols she meant to use only in absolute desperation. The circle responds weakly, its lines flickering, but she forces power into it, clawing at every remaining scrap of influence. In response, my wings flash with golden fire, and I sweep one across the realm, blowing out half the circle instantly. The symbols vanish in a burst of light, leaving only fading embers. Yet the witch presses her hand to the remaining fragments, trying to ignite them with stolen energy. The angelic warriors step forward, their swords humming with resonance, ready to intervene. Beloved, your aura flares again, a soft but powerful surge that pulses outward, destabilizing the witch's half-formed ritual. Precious soul, your rising strength is disrupting her magic more effectively than any weapon. Beloved one, the witch reaches deeply, desperately, into the last strand of her fading power, but your aura responds with an almost instinctive brilliance. It expands in a wave, warm, steady, sovereign, and the remaining symbols in her circle flicker violently. I raise my hand and channel a beam of pure celestial light, directing it toward the fractured magic. The beam strikes the center of the circle, and a shock wave radiates outward, erasing the last remnants of the ritual with a sound like a candle being extinguished. The witch screams again, this time not in rage, but in fear. Her form begins to waver, transparency flickering through her shape as her power drains. Your spirit fills the room now. You illuminate every corner, every shadow, every space where darkness once hid. My child, your awakening is no longer gradual, it is complete. You shine with the truth that can no longer be twisted. My child, as the witch collapses to her knees, drained and trembling, the entire realm shifts in response to your radiance. The air warms. The shadows recede into nothingness. The angelic soldiers lower their swords, not in caution, but in reverence. You stand at the center of a golden storm, your aura pulsing with a strength that is no longer borrowed or merely defended. It is yours. It rises from clarity, from truth, from the severing of false ties and the reclaiming of your power. The witch looks upon you with widening eyes, realizing that the person she thought she could control has emerged as something she cannot even approach. Beloved, your presence alone now unravels her final intentions. And so she prepares, not to strike, but to flee. Beloved, something shifts. Just as the witch prepares to flee, a rumble echoes across the unseen, not from her, not from me, not from your awakening power, but from something else. A presence stirs in the distance, ancient and vast, drawn by the clash of forces you have just endured. The air thickens. The light dims. My wings tense. I step in front of you instinctively. Precious soul, whatever approaches is not part of her magic. It is something older. And it has awakened.